So, this second Test match has come to a predictable close in a draw. It's not been a great game. It's not been a game that's been that well received. I think from spectators sort of watching on and listeners as well from outside. There's been some criticism flying around about how much cricket we've had or how little cricket we've had. We did have some cricket today, and play starting at 3:20 and England moving on to 110 for 4 declared in reply to Pakistan's 236. Route 9 not out at the end, Butler yet to score. It was a nice half century from Zach Crawley making 53. He would have taken something out of this final day. And also Mohammad Abbas, who bowled beautifully, picked up a couple of wickets and 1 wicket for Yasir Shah as well. How do you reflect on this Test match, Azhar?
It's been very frustrating. We can't control the weather, but overall we saw some good cricket. I think from Pakistan point of view, it's a really positive thing to see Rizwan played so well. He showed some discipline. Abid Ali as well. He learned from the last Test match. He played the ball really late, and it was good 60 from him. And Rizwan, young guy playing first time in England in these conditions. It was tough condition. We saw ball is doing a bit today as well, but he showed some temperament, class and good discipline in his batting, which is really good sign for Pakistan. And if you see the bowlers, I think they've done okay. They've done all right in these conditions. We saw ball was hooping around and doing all sort of things, but I think they show some good discipline, good line and length, which is good sign.
The conditions in which Pakistan batted, are they about as difficult as you can get in Test cricket, say, away from a fifth day spinning pitch in Asia?
Oh yeah, definitely. Because normally when you come to England and you see the seaming condition, but we saw the ball was 80 years old and he's hooping around, and it wasn't easy for the batsman to play that. Some of the delivery was unplayable, and they managed to play really well. In the end, put some good total on the board because of Babar, Rizwan and Abid. I thought they must be happy and proud what they have achieved in this Test match.
How about how Pakistan bowled today? With just a few sort of dents into that England batting lineup?
I think they definitely give them a bit more boost and credit. We saw some good partnership from Sibley and Crawley, and after that, Pakistan managed to get 3 wickets today, which is really a good sign. And all of the bowlers, they done their work. They had the match practice bowling in the middle, so which always good.
Michael Vaughan is here as well. Michael, how will you reflect on the second Test match at the Ageas Bowl in the summer of, I say summer, we are still in summer, it hasn't felt like it over the last few days, in the summer of 2020?
I've enjoyed parts of it. I enjoyed the last 2 hours. I think the cricket that we've seen has been exciting. I think the pitch has played a part in that because there's a little bit of movement seen. I think Pakistan, for that 2 hours out in the middle there, will take a great deal of positivity because, the pitch played at probably its best because of the sun was shining. When the clouds are around, we know it's going to be zipping around, and they have attack that can clearly put England under a huge amount of pressure. But today, with the sun shining, the pitch played nicely, and then all of a sudden Abbas came back on, and he's a wonderful bowler. Just getting the ball to seam either way. That dismissal of Ollie Pope to Yasir Shah. I think Pakistan over the course of the 5 days has probably taken a few more positives, but you start afresh on Friday. I think batting first will be quite important. I think that little spell there showed that this pitch here, and understandably with the amount of wickets that they've been asked to prepare here, looks a wicket that might take some spin and some uneven bounce.
Time for some reaction now. Jonathan has got Pakistan's captain.
I have, Azhar Ali is here. Well, I suppose actually you'll be happy with the way that it ended in the end. Take some wickets.
Obviously it was frustrating. Weather is in no one's control. Obviously it's been raining every day, and the light hasn't been very good as well. So yeah, it was frustrating for the players, but I thought it would have been a very close game again. It would have been a very fantastic Test match setup, but unfortunately the weather was the winner at the end.
Do you feel you struck a few blows there, taking those wickets this afternoon?
But obviously we knew it was always going to be a draw, but we wanted to come out and bowl according to condition, and we wanted to make sure that we get enough wickets, and we bowl in right areas. So we wanted to do all the things we would do in any conditions, any condition of the match. But obviously we knew back of the mind that it's not going to be a result oriented, but we wanted to make a statement.
Were you pleased with the way you batted in those very difficult conditions first?
I'm proud of the boys because the condition, we always feel that in England first couple of hours or first innings never it's always something for the bowler, but as a batting unit we always take up the challenges, and which is good sign, and boys always fought hard in the middle. Obviously we have a huge respect for the bowling attack England have got. There's about more than 1,000 wicket between Anderson and Broad, and a lot of experience there, and also likes of Vokes and other bowlers, whoever they play, as Sam Curran, whoever they're quality bowling attack. So if playing against them in the conditions, especially the first couple of days with the clouds around, ball was seaming around, and I think boys stuck to it. Obviously you need luck in these conditions, but the most heartening thing is everyone was fighting.
There's been a lot of talk about the bad light. Do you have any thoughts about what can be done? I mean, better floodlights or pink ball, people are saying. Have you got any thoughts as an international captain how things could be better? Well,
obviously it's tough, as a cricket spectator. You feel at home and you say like cricket should be gone, and people who are outside, they would obviously want to see the game being played. But I think umpires and the other authorities would want the players' safety first, because they are the one they are the one under pressure. They are the one who had to do it in the middle. So I think the umpires and the referee would have they think about the players first, and I think they're doing the great job.
Well, thank you. I'm sorry about the weather. I can only apologise on behalf of the whole country for how it's been down here. We'll see you on Friday.
Right, cheers. Thank you.
Azhar Ali is here. I think I might get a quick chat with Joe Root, who's going to come over as well. They're just setting up beside me here. So it's all happening like clockwork at the moment. So a friendly slap on the back to his opposite number there. And here comes Joe, he's got a big smile on his face. It's sort of, I don't know, it was never going to be a sort of happy ending after all of that, was it?
No, and it would have been nice to have like a result possible at the end of today, but on a surface like that, it's impossible, really. Credit to Pakistan. I think in the first innings they probably got more than we would have liked them to, and got themselves in a position where they, were pretty safe once we had all that weather. So we knew we had to just turn up today, try and be as professional as possible, put those partnerships on, and it's an experience in the bank for moving forward for a young batting group at the top of the order. Something different for them to deal with on a challenging surface that'll give them a huge amount of confidence, that partnership in particular.
Yeah. It's never easy batting in that situation, is it?
No, and especially when it's seaming around like that against probably one of the best bowlers at exposing those conditions and exploiting a wicket like that. So credit to Zach and Siva. Zach in particular, I thought, played with great fluency on a wicket which was very hard to feel in on. I think he was very good at latching on to any sort of loose deliveries, and I thought he played extremely well.
You must have had some chats, I'd have thought, between the cards or whatever about bad light and what can be done. With my word, we talk about this for 50 years and longer, and it's never really been solved to everyone's satisfaction. What are your thoughts on bad light and what you can play in and what you can't play in and where you draw the line? Pink balls, bigger floodlights. There's been all sorts of suggestions around.
There's so many different ways you could look at it. I think with the balls, if the Test Championship used the same ball everywhere, that would make that easier in terms of changing it around, I think.
Okay, yeah.
I think the Duke ball, for example, is a lot darker than the Kookaburra ball, naturally. Maybe like a very light red ball. And I think the standard of floodlights have got to be right there. Of a minimum standard, if you like.
Yeah.
But I think as much as we can, we've got to protect the game as it is. I don't want to change it too much. You don't want to drastically change the conditions because of potentially only an hour's bad light in a 5-day game. This has been very extreme this week, where you're not going to see many games like this. Where the other thing as well, maybe starting earlier, starting at 10:30 if we lose some play.
Everyone here too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's a possibility to look at in the future. It's something that happens elsewhere in the world and it doesn't happen here.
So you'd start the game with a different ball, or you'd think of changing a ball
Well, potentially start the game with a light ball full stop.
and keep it. Yeah.
Probably one with no seam on it as well for us batters. That would be nice.
They're not having everything.
No, but so have a look at something like that. I'm sure they can trial it and see where you can take it from there. But I do think we found ourselves in a week where we had very strange circumstances. I don't think there'll be many games where bad light plays such a part as this 5 days has.
Well, you're still 1-0 up.
Yep.
And so thoughts, I know you've probably even started thinking about Friday yet, but can you in any way imagine what sort of side you might put out there? Obviously, attack-wise, I mean, can you see changes or rotations or...?
We'll have to see where we're at in the next couple of days. And thankfully, as we have done all summer, we've got fantastic options available to us. We can have a look at the surface and see if it looks any different to this one, and see if there's a balance of attack that we really fancy on any given pitch. Of course, we'll go into every game, as always, is looking to win it and make sure we do everything we can to try and get 2-0 in the series. But yeah, it's nice to be in this position, going into the final game 1-0 up.
Day off tomorrow?
Day off tomorrow, yeah, I think so.
Good, well, good luck. Enjoy it.
Cheers, thank you.
Thank you, Joe, very much indeed for talking to us. There we go. Mohammad Rizwan is the man of the match. So that's a very exciting way that he batted. And so we've heard from the two captains. Again, Simon, there's no obvious solution. That light ball's quite an interesting one. He was talking about the Kookaburra ball being naturally a lighter colour to the Duke, whether they play with that or all over the place. But then, as we know, our English bowlers very much cherish that Duke ball. They bowl very well with it. So I'm not sure over the course of these 5 days, with all the light and the weather, that there's been lots of suggestions, but no obvious solutions.
No. The other thing as well, I think is a really legitimate point that Joe Root made, is you do not get many matches like this weather-wise in England. I mean, it has been a freak the last few days with the overcast conditions and the bad light. Just the grey sitting over the ground. I mean, normally if you do get cloud, it's high enough for the floodlights to take effect. But it's been really unusual conditions, and so do you make a radical change, or what might seem to be a radical change, just because of what you might call an outlier test match? I mean, that's something to...
Perhaps it'll focus minds.
Yeah, I mean, I think bad light, though, as a general rule, has to be a thing of the past. And my mind always goes back to that match in Abu Dhabi, where we played 5 tough days of cricket, and at 20-6, the players walked off for bad light, with England needing 20 to win, and they had 4 wickets left. And you think, can that be right for the game of cricket? I mean, you sort of accept it because you know the history of the game, but it just didn't feel right that something like bad light in a situation like that, had the winning hand, if you like. Thanks very much, Jonathan. Plenty more from Jonathan in the next Test match, of course. Michael's still here. Atif is here, and Andy Zaltzman has got some stats as well about that declaration from England, which was 110 for 4 declared.
Yes, it's the lowest score at which a team has ever declared in a Test in England, which previously was 111 by Australia in that Oval Test of 2013. 111 for 6 they declared when trying to set England the chase that they again, another game in which they all went off for bad light, with the game tantalisingly poised at the end. So this is the lowest score at which a team has ever declared in a Test in England. It's ended up, I think it's the 9th shortest Test in terms of balls bowled ever in this country. It's only the 3rd drawn Test in the last 43 in this country. No 6s were hit in this Test. That's only the 2nd Test anywhere since the start of 17 in which there have been no 6s hit, and the last one was the Test here earlier in the summer against West Indies, which is a bit of a curious, and it's broken Sam Curran's run of winning every single home Test in which he's played.
It has. You must have been getting so excited though when the score got to 110. We were drawing towards the end of the Test match with that record looming.
It's been an exciting day for everyone, Simon.
Well, we've had some cricket. And Michael, what did you make of Joe Root's comments there about light and balls and starting times and things like that?
Yeah, I like the starting times. I think that would be sensible. Clearly the game needs to find a coloured ball that works in all conditions. I know this week has been very different with the conditions, but let's be honest, for a long time now in Test match cricket, the light's been taken far too soon. We've talked pretty much about it every single Test match this summer, from the start against the West Indies here to the games at Old Trafford. But it's not just been this summer, it's been for a long period of time that we've all been frustrated. And when you've got lights, you need better lights, but I personally think that the game has to find the ball that's the right colour to be able to play on in all conditions. Rain, you can't do anything about. I think covering at test venues, I think we do have to look at that today. The covers weren't quite big enough.
Someone sent me a photograph of Sri Lanka earlier, where they cover the whole ground when it rains.
Yeah, it just seems very bizarre that there's so much money that is at stake in the game of cricket, so much money from broadcasters, administration. There's so much that's kind of angling towards what we're seeing, that surely we just need to be a little bit more proactive in terms of the covering. I have to say that the cricket that we have seen, I've really enjoyed. I think the pitch here and the 22 yards, and the ground staff have had some stick this week, but let's give the ground a massive amount of credit, because that is the kind of test match wicket I want to see, because it gives something for everybody. If you get in as a batsman, you've had to work hard, but you can play your strokes on it. There's a spin ball, as we saw from Yasir Shah. There was a little bit there for him. The seam movement there for high qualified, skillful seam bowlers, and there's carry through to the keeper. Pretty much everything that you require in a test match wicket. So Friday, when we start again, we'll all arrive here knowing that when we see cricket, it's going to be of a high standard, because we've got 2 high-class seam bowling attacks and 1 leg spinner that looks like he enjoyed it this afternoon. He had a little smile on his face, almost as if to say, I might enjoy Friday.
Yeah, and you feel actually if the weather does behave itself, there will be a result between these 2 teams, on, especially if the surface is going to be similar to the one which we played on. How will you your Test match debut, Atif? How would you reflect on? I'm sorry about the fact you had so little cricket to describe, but there we go. That's what happens. It's the game of Test cricket.
Well, it was a pleasure either way. It was lovely to be here and be a part of this team. And I mean, in terms of the cricket, as Michael said, the little that we saw, it was of such a high quality. It really whets your appetite for that last game, because when they start playing, and hopefully you can only really hope that the ground staff, the umpires, everybody will respond to the criticism by being a little bit more positive in that third game, and we get to see more cricket, and we don't have any reason to be overly critical of anybody. And we didn't really get to hear directly from the ground staff or the umpires, and it would have been nice, because it's possible that we're not party to some reason that we didn't get some cricket in, so we felt that frustration. It was never really curbed, which it could have been had they given us some insights. But yeah, I mean, you'd hope that a less truncated test match, more consistent action. It will be even more disappointing for Pakistan than England, because England still retained that 1-0 lead. Pakistan's so close to that win in the first game. It will be even more frustrating now, knowing that they can't win the series, and the opposite would have been true right now. They wouldn't have been able to lose the series had this played out and they just finished off that game. So they've got to try and put that nagging feeling of underachievement behind them and come in and level the series.
I must admit, though, I thought after the disappointment from Manchester, I expected England to blow them away here. And when I saw the ball moving as it did on day one, and I saw a few early wickets, I was thinking, if Pakistan get beyond 150, I'll be surprised. But they showed a huge amount of skill. Abid Ali at the top of the order played beautifully. Babar Azam, he's a class act in all conditions. Really worked a method, leave, and play on the onside. And Rizwan, for me, he's a firecracker. He's the kind of cricketer that I'd love to have in my team, because that he wants to be out there competing. He doesn't mind chirping. He knows that he's going to have to take it. And what he played this week was an innings that I didn't think he could play, because he played with great skill and control for a long period, and all of a sudden he had to play a few shots, and he did so. And that too, 30, 40, whatever they got, was very, very competitive on that kind of wicket. And if they come with the same discipline and mindset on Friday with that bowling attack, I don't think there'll be any changes from Pakistan. The one change that I would make, I'd go back to Shadab Khan. I just think he offers more to the team with his legsman, particularly now they've seen Yasir Shah.
So poor old Fawad Alam.
There he goes. I'm sorry.
No.
He'd have to manoeuvre to one side, purely because Shadab Khan's record in England with the bat is very good.
Yeah.
And also, having seen Yasir Shah bowl on the wicket, he did get a little bit of spin. Surely he'd want a second spin option. Fielding, what Shadab Khan brings to the field. It's going to be exciting, because I think England know, and in their heart of hearts, they knew at Old Trafford, and it was that one outstanding partnership, that this Pakistan team have got 20 wickets in them on any wicket, and we've seen here there's movement in the seam, so of course they'll fancy getting 20 wickets, even on a flat wicket. The flattest wickets in the world, Pakistan know they can get 20 wickets. So that's why Friday we arrive, hope the sun shines. I think we're in for an absolute classic.
What do England do? Do they bring back Jofra Archer for Sam Curran?
They could, yeah, that'd be an option. I was surprised that they didn't go with Jofra again this week. I presume Jimmy Anderson wouldn't play in the second test and come back for the third test. I can't imagine that they'll be getting the ball out of Jimmy's hand for Friday's start. I think that would be a fair option to bring in someone that's a bit quicker. I mean, again, you look at what Pakistan got in the first innings. Realistically, if you're being ultra critical of the England side, they dropped some catches, and they should have really bowled Pakistan out for 170, 180. So, and there was that period where Rizwan started to hit the ball about and the field spread. So as much as it's been a draw, I think we've taken a few things from this week to take into the last test match.
What would Pakistan not want England to do in terms of the constitution of their pace attack, Atif, do you think? Would you think they wouldn't like England to bring back Archer, therefore they should?
I don't know. Archer's obviously, for a lot of people, the most exciting bowler in world cricket right now. So, him playing would be really, really exciting just from a fan perspective. But I think the Pakistani batsmen are in a unique position where they've got all these 90-mile-an-hour plus bowlers in their squad, and there's eight fast bowlers in this 28-man touring party, each quicker than the last. And when you consider Mohammad Abbas is the slowest of the bunch, and a bunch of them go into the 90s, and Imran Khan's been cranking up the pace as well in the T20 warm-up games that they've been having. I don't think it's the pace that's going to worry them. It's the reputation and weight that Archer carries.
There was one ball. Mohammad Abbas bowled a ball to Joe Root, and it was on a length, and it flew past his right shoulder. Can you imagine 90 odd miles an hour of Jofra Archer coming from 7 foot? And we saw the spell against the West Indies on that last afternoon. I'd be playing Jofra on this kind of wicket on Friday.